Anyone else would like to try? Matajis? Shubha Shubha Farayevam Mokshaishe Karma Bandhane Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupashashe. Very nice. So I will just go word for word now. Shubha, from auspicious. Ashubha, and inauspicious. Phale, results. Evam, thus. Mokshase, you will become free. Karma, of work. Bandhane, from the bondage. Sannyas, of renunciation. Yoga, the yoga. Yuktatma, having the mind firmly set on. Vimukta, liberated. Mam, to me. Upayishyasi, you will attain. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki. In this way, you will be free from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Purport. One who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called yukta. The technical term is yukta vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Anasakta sya visayan yatarham uppayunjataha nirbandha krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. Bhakti Rasamartha Sindhu 1-225. Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Actually, situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind. And as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated. And this liberation is also specified. By this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahma-Jyoti, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here, Mam Upayishashi. He comes to me, back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation, and here it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually a sannyas. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. It is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact word are Tanha Vakya Kriya Mudra Vigneha Na Bhujaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 23:39. A person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated at present, and in the future is going back home, back to Godhead, is guaranteed. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. Om Magyana Timirandasya Janandana Shalakaya Shakshuru Miritamyena Tashme Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Enabhutare Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamaram Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Radita Shri Vishaka Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinna Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tatta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Karpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivashadi Gora Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Thank you very much. I will read again the translation. In this way you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So, just to put ourselves in the context, and thank you so much for being here again. The previous verse, it actually says that it's a very important verse in Bhagavad Gita that tells us how a devotee should actually act within this world. We often ask this question, how is it possible to actually maintain a life, family life, for example, a life in the material world, and at the same time be focused in spirituality or in Krishna consciousness? This is a common question which is very difficult to do, as we can understand. So Krishna, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gauranitai ki jai. So in the previous verse, and we just recite it because it's a very nice verse. It says, Yat karoshi yat asnashi, yat jahosi dadashi, yat tapasyashi kuntiya tat kurusvama darpanam. That whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So this is actually, if you want to be freed from the reactions of karma, this is the solution that Krishna gives us, that we should act in Krishna consciousness by offering everything, acting for the pleasure of the Lord. So, and these verses are very confidential because this is part of the 9th chapter, which is the most confidential knowledge. So they're really, really elevated. So I kind of do feel kind of inadequate to actually speak on these verses because they're highly elevated. So even before I continue on, I will ask the blessings of my peers and the senior devotees who are also present. But of course, these two are amazing. And let's not forget David Prabhu, my god brother, and to all the Vaishnavas that are here present today. So what I want to do this verse is that I'm going to take a particular stance on it, because I tried to meditate on this verse this morning a little bit, but I haven't actually really prepared for it, because it is such a deep verse and it would have taken me more time to actually prepare for it. But unfortunately, so many things happen. So to understand this verse, I thought of how should we understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And very recently we had an amazing brahmachari class by Pastor Prabhu, and he asked us actually what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita in 2 words. Can you guys tell me if you remember what is it? Manmana. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru. So just after that, at the end of this chapter, we find this verse coming up again that says that we should always think of the Lord, manmana. And that is verse 34. So Krishna says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisance to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So you see, the same principles come back again here. That if you want to go back to Krishna, back to Godhead, like Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, therefore we should engage our every being, every word, every thought in Krishna consciousness. This is what it means to be Krishna conscious, to always be conscious of Krishna. So I found that this verse, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, actually can help us understand this highly elevated verse. And how so? Because we need to understand our relationship with Krishna. That actually our mind, in its purest essence, if we think of our original constitution, the whole purpose of the mind, it says that the mind has actually 3 functions. And can anybody tell me what are the 3 functions of the mind? We'll make it interactive because I haven't prepared. So, David Prabhu? So David Prabhu said that the mind actually has the 3 functions: to think, will, and to feel. So all these functions happen within the mind. So whatever we may feel, whatever we may think or will to do, will happen within the mind. So we take this from actually Shastra, that this is, this is mind. And the mind actually is situated in the region of the heart. So what you're saying is correct. Feeling is also a function of the heart, but because the mind actually is not situated within the head or within the brain region, it's actually situated within the heart. So in a sense, you can say that feeling is something that if you feel, it happens within the region of the heart. So what I was coming to is that because our constitution is eternal servants of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, actually our mind function is to actually think of Krishna, to feel, in relation to Krishna, and to will in relation to Krishna. And one example that Prabhupada gave to help facilitate and understand that, and forgive me if we're going to do an experiment here. So Prabhupada said that our attraction to Krishna should be as natural as the attraction that a boy has for a girl, because it's not that you need to actually, plan it or think of it, This just happens naturally. It's not that you need to go to school to learn about how to become attracted to the opposite sex. It does happen naturally. So because our natural constitution is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and Krishna is actually the all-attractive, this is literally what it means, therefore we are naturally attracted by Krishna. We don't need to actually make an effort to become attracted. But because we are coming to this material world and have been conditioned for so many lifetimes, therefore, we have forgotten this connection, this attraction to Krishna. So therefore we have to kind of remind ourselves, and the best way to remember is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm gonna just paint the picture here, because I'm sure that you all had the experience, what you call having a crush. Who hasn't had a crush over here? Anybody? I know you brahmacharis, but you have to help me out here, because this is an experiment, and I'm trying to actually make a point. I'm trying to make a very graphic point that whenever, and this is safe, don't worry about it. So whenever you actually become intensely attracted to someone, and I'm sure that you all have had this experience of becoming infatuated. The word that I wanted to use is to become infatuated. So what happens when you're in that state of infatuation? And if you look up the word infatuation, it means like that you are intensely attracted and intensely, like constantly thinking of that person, isn't it? You don't need to actually make an effort to think of the person. Are you looking up the word? Yeah, please, you can tell me the exact definition so we can be on point here. Exactly. So I wanted to make this point that this infatuation is intense, but it's also short-lived. That is the difference. In material life, actually, you may feel strongly about someone, but it's very short-lived. It's not going to last a long time. But still, the impression remains, and this is why we are bound within this material world. Like this verse is saying actually that we are bound this material world by either good or bad results, So, but being completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, intensely attracted and thinking of Krishna, actually does the opposite. It liberates us from the bondage of karma. So, what I was going to say is that I remember exactly the time that I found myself in that state, that being very young, I was a teenager, So coming to, a completely new country. I was actually going to live with my father for the first time in Switzerland. So it was completely new for me, And before that I was, living with my mother, and we going from places to places, and we never really had a stable home, So going to Switzerland for the first time, Geneva, I found that it was like a very peaceful environment, somewhere I could actually, like a place I could call home, if you like, So I remember very distinctly, when I came into that state of becoming infatuated. And there was this girl, in our school, was the International School of Geneva, that was called Evelyn, Until this day, that impression just still remained. And I'm making this point because to make that this attraction or these impressions actually are very strong. And if somehow we can dovetail that to Krishna, then actually we may be able to understand how to actually quickly advance in Krishna consciousness, how to always think of Krishna, and therefore how to become liberated from the bondage of karma. So this is very significant, and we shouldn't be afraid of exploring those impressions and dealing with them. Because this is a very important part of Krishna consciousness, that the devotees, we're going through the process, but only sometimes on a superficial level, because we are scared to, look within ourselves, and to find out, what is there, what are those anarthas or impressions that are remained from the past. But actually here, in this verse, a very important term is used is yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya, which means that actually we use everything in Krishna consciousness, not just material things like I'm using this microphone and therefore we are speaking Krishna Katha. But you can actually use everything and anything, past impressions, everything that you may have your whole entire being. You can use it in a way to actually preach Krishna consciousness. You see where I'm going with this point? So, if we can become eternally infatuated in Krishna consciousness, meaning that if we can, because it's short-lived, materially speaking, but the nature of Krishna consciousness that when we become attracted to devotees, when we become attracted to our spiritual master and to following through with the instruction of our spiritual master, we come to this point of actually feeling, thinking, and willing in Krishna consciousness, meaning that our thoughts go towards, the devotees, Krishna, the spiritual master, and everything actually becomes very easy at that point, because when we put our mind to something, automatically action will come. You see, we often say that you can't actually say that, okay, you love a person, and then not do anything. Is that really love? Is that really actual? Is that really, a reflection of how you feel or your internal? Because I remember very distinctly when I was infatuated with Evelyn, and that will come up throughout the class, so please bear with me. So with this girl, because of her qualities, because of who she was, and so on and so on, is that automatically I was starting to make plans. You have these things in America called, the balls, the dance, how do you call that?
Graduation?
Yeah, how do you call that here? Graduation. And you have a special dance, right? And you have to go with someone, thank you, I was looking for that word, the prom, yeah, exactly. So it becomes a whole thing. It becomes an entire thing. How am I going to ask her out? What am I going to do? Actually, it came to my mind that we'll have the idea of we booked a limousine. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous the things you can do. We booked an entire limousine with a bunch of friends just for the purpose of going to that dance, and inviting the girls that we liked. So you see that it's like you automatically engage in making plans and make actions just in order to actually, please the person, to attract the attention of the person, I would even say, So I found that if we can somehow turn that into Krishna consciousness, we will make tremendous progress, And this goes back to, this story, and you were familiar with that story of Bivamangala Thakur, and with the prostitute, right? Because he was so infatuated with the prostitute that he had to go through so many obstacles, so many dangers, because in a moment of weakness when his father had died, instead of actually going through with the rituals and that he thought of, I have to get some solace and comfort by seeing this prostitute. So he went through so many different obstacles in order to reach the place of that prostitute. But afterwards, what she told him is if you had used all that effort, endeavor, and all that energy in Krishna, you'll be a pure devotee by now. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking about in these verses, talking about how pure devotees are actually, we cannot understand pure devotees. We can, because the same way that a person that is completely infatuated, within this material world with a girl may do some insane things. You may not even understand, but every activity, everything is done for one single purpose: how to please that person, how to attract their attention. Even when they seem to be doing something normal, they be thinking of that person. So pure devotees are the same. We have to actually take that and, kind of superimpose it on how pure devotees act. We may know that they are always thinking of Krishna, at any time. So therefore, we cannot criticize them. They are beyond criticism, like Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. There's as much as Krishna is beyond criticism, pure devotees are beyond criticism. Why? Because they're always thinking of Krishna. So I think that you can all imagine that. If you happen to encounter a pure devotee, how do you know he's a pure devotee? So I was listening to a class recently by Bhaktivedanta Manor Maharaj, and he was asking that question: how do you know a pure devotee when you see one? How would you know? How do you know that you know? Like we heard in the class this morning, how do you know that you know? Because externally, he said, actually, if you look at other Mayavadis, for example, they're very clean, They constantly engage somehow, They read the scriptures, They're very versed in the scriptures. So if you say that, okay, you can recognize a pure devotee because he is well, knowledgeable in the scriptures, is that just it? He says, no, not forcibly. So many other scholars, you may know, the whole Bhagavad Gita by heart, but does that mean that you're a pure devotee? So what is the characters? What defines a pure devotee? Can anyone answer that question? How do you recognize a pure devotee? By what characteristics can you recognize a pure devotee? Mm-hmm. So they engage everything, all their senses, like Ambarish Maharaj, for example, engage Atmani Vedana, just, surrender everything to Krishna, engage all your senses to Krishna. Anything else? They don't have. So, pure devotee act in pure devotional service. That means that it's not mixed. It's like Prabhupada will use that word, it's unalloyed, meaning it's not mixed with karma and gyan. There's no expectation of any results, and there's also no any traces of, speculation, that we're trying to actually know the absolute truth by our own mental speculation, It's completely free of those things. So it's pure bhakti, pure devotion. You were saying, Prabhu? So they are always engaged in Krishna consciousness 24 hours. That is a very good one, because this one is actually described in by Rupa Goswami in Bhaktarasamrita Sindhu. That one way to recognize a pure devotee is that he's always engaged 24 hours in Krishna consciousness. He never wastes even a moment. And we've seen that in the life of Prabhupada. He will never waste even a moment in Krishna. He will always be engaged in Krishna. Just like the same, like we're going back to that. If you infatuated, and I want you to think of that crush that you had in your own time, that person you're really attracted to. You don't even think of wasting time. It's just there that you always try to somehow be around the person. Know where they are, what are they doing. Like this morning we asked in the class, devotees should ask, what is Radha Krishna doing now? What are they doing now? Who'd like to know what they are doing now? We read about the history, but they're having eternal pastimes. Who wouldn't be curious to know what are they doing now, right? So who can tell us? Pure devotees can tell us. So again, I found it very interesting that when we think in that manner, we can actually have a glimpse, of the activities of pure devotees. But what Bhaktivedanta Manor Maharaj went on saying is that, and I'm going to stop very soon, is that we can actually only recognize a pure devotee if ourselves we are a devotee. We cannot recognize a pure devotee if ourselves we are not a devotee. We just need to be a devotee. Then Krishna will actually tell us who is a pure devotee, where is a pure devotee. So if we just follow sincerely, follow the principles, chant Hare Krishna, the minimum runs, read Prabhupada's books, distribute his books, follow the instruction of the spiritual master. If we are just devotees, actually Krishna in the heart will reveal to us who is a pure devotee. And by their association, we also become free from this material world, from this bondage. So I will stop here. Did you guys have any questions or something to add or any correction you would like to do? Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. There's so many instances actually where Prabhupada demonstrated that whatever qualities we have found within this world, actually ultimately all those qualities are coming from Krishna. So again, if you go back to that person you were really infatuated with, So if you just imagine that whatever quality they have, Krishna has those qualities but unlimitedly. So how much more infatuated would you be with Krishna if you ever had to see Krishna? I mean, if you seriously think about it, it'd be like untenable. Like it's like we become so mad in this world with this like material like attraction. But if we actually truly understood this eternal relationship we have with Krishna, and how much more sublime it is, there will be no question of material life. There will be no question of any type of karma or any type of like actually desire for even engaging in material life. It'll be completely obsolete, and not by even doing any effort. It would just be natural, So. So the point of us engaging in this process is that, as it described, that we engage in our Vedi sadhana bhakti. So we follow the rules and regulations as prescribed by our spiritual authorities, and in this case, Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. But eventually, it is recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami that we should actually, come to the point of engaging in Raganuga bhakti. So spontaneous practice, devotional practice, meaning that eventually we need to develop those feelings where we can actually constantly be engaged in devotional service, not because it's something that is forced upon us or it's something that requires effort, but it has to become natural. And again, it was Gaur Govinda Maharaj who actually said that this particular verse, Man Manabhava Mad Bhakto, and also Sarandharmam Parichaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, those verses actually, we cannot even understand or practice those verses unless we have attained the level of prem. That's what he said. Because you can't actually surrender everything to someone unless you love them. If you don't love them, how can you surrender everything to them? How can you think constantly of someone if you are not infatuated, attracted, completely in love with them? So we have to become in love with God. This is what Prabhupada said, we have to come to that point of love of Godhead. So I will stop here. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna. Jai. Ki Jai. Jai. Yeah, Kirtan. I didn't say that. Kind of goes towards that direction. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gauranitaya ki, Ki Vajaya Jaya Gaurachande Arati Kushobha. Keva Jaya Jaya Gaurachande Arati Koshova. Okay. Nati Koshova. Jana Vitatavane. Jagamana Lovana. Jana Vitatavane. Jagamana Bhakti Chandrajini Vadana Ujvara Bhakti Chandrajini Vadana Ujvara Dhara Deshevana Mara Kore Dhara Mara Dhara Deshevana Mara Kore Dhara Mara Shiva Shuka Narada Primegara Gada Shiva Shuka Narada Primegara Gada Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi, Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi, Gaura Bhaktivedanta Prabhu Nityananda, Advaita Gadadara Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi, Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi, Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna